Okay, so let's go back to that question. And the question was, the tappet sandstone are supposed to be the first deposits following this erosional phase and this peneplain time here at the bottom, in the Cambrian. Yet they don't seem to be deposited everywhere. They don't seem to be present everywhere. So one possibility to explain that is that you can see is that there was some topography, and that as a result the sandstone didn't get deposited everywhere. And that's something that we can really imagine very well in this area, because we have here a granite and here we've got some schist. So we could easily imagine that during this phase of erosion, the schist, which is less resistant to erosion, may have been eroded away, leaving the granite in relief. So what we would have is, let's imagine that we have a situation where we have, some schist, and then the granite remains in relief. So let's say that this is our granite here, and we've got our schists that are nearly vertical. And we can see that if at the end of this phase we start depositing sandstone, and these sandstones could be fluvial sandstones, they could be river sediment deposited in basins, like in the lows in the topography, a bit like in Siccar Point we saw these sandstones that were progressively filling up that topography. So you could easily imagine that these tappet sandstones were deposited in the topographic low here. And then the next formation, which is the Bright Angel Formation, was deposited before the tappet sandstone could completely cover the landscape. So the result is that in places the Bright Angel Formation is directly on the basement, and in some places it's got the tappet sandstone in between. Okay, so that's for this one. So we can now start drawing the cross-section. Remember, we start from the youngest to the oldest, so you may want to start with the faults, for example, which seems to cut through the wall of the units. So try to think about, I'm not asking you to get the deep and deep directions of the faults all the time, because sometimes it's very difficult. Your cross-sections cut two faults here. And well, the question is, are they very steep? Are they low angle? And if they are very steep, what is the general direction in which they are dipping? So try to think about that for these two faults. Try to see along the line of section whether you've got any evidence that suggests that the fault is dipping one way or the other.